Welcome, Float community, to another FTA Roundtable with all of the amazing, epic people that help us bring content and educate those out in the world so that they can come to your business and experience the amazing services that you offer. Today is March 8th, 2022, and this roundtable is all about consultants in our industry, the float industry, presented by the Floatation Tank Association. And because I am actually not very, familiar with who is a consultant, I think we should probably just kind of go do a roll call and see who is all here. And I'm going to start by just rattling off a first name, and I can't actually, just to make this organized, I can see a grid of people on my screen. So I'm going to start with you, Andy. There's only one Andy. So each one of you have a unique first name. So we'll start with Andy.
Well, hey, everybody. I'm Andy Scher. I'm the agency director at Rise Net Advertising. I am a consultant with the FDA. Do you want to get into like?
No, we'll loop. What I want to do is we'll introduce yourself and then we'll loop back around, if that's okay.
Wonderful,
just so everyone can give a first intro.
Excellent.
So,
great.
Thank you for joining us, Andy.
My pleasure.
Peter Sharp, I'm not sure if you are a consultant, but I know you're a manufacturer consultant.
No, neither. No, we're a float center operator. So I'm really here to observe, and I'm also on the committee with Greg
Awesome.
for manufacturers, consultants, and also suppliers. So yeah, thanks everyone for getting together. Look forward to learning a lot today.
Awesome. And if I do say a first name and you're not a consultant, it's okay. Just, you don't have to come in and say, no, I'm not. I'll just skip on to the next. Kelly.
Hello. Hi, I'm Kelly Caldwell out of Greenville, South Carolina, and I am also a consultant.
Excellent.
Good to see you.
Welcome, Kelly. Thank you for joining us. Graham.
Yeah. Hey, Graham Talley here with Float Tank Solutions, and yeah, do some consulting through that.
Thank you for joining us, Graham. Mr. Matt.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Matt. I'm part of the FTA as a consultant as well, and I help float center marketers or float center owners with digital marketing.
Welcome, Matt.
Thank you, sir.
Bryce.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm a consultant with the FTA, and I run More Floats, which is an agency for float centers.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us, Bryce.
Thanks.
Jeremy or James.
Okay. I'm James Harder. I am a member of the board for the Float Tank Association, done some work on this committee, and I also own a company, New England Float Partners, here in the Northeast, where we do float tank consultation, installation, maintenance, and service. So happy to be here, happy to see everybody, and hear more about what you all offer.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us, James. Dylan.
Hey there, I'm Dylan. I co-own Art of the Float, and I do consulting.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dylan. Ryan?
Hey, what's going on? My name is Ryan Murphy. I'm involved in a float center in Mount Kisco, New York, called Rise Above Floatation. I took classes with Graham and Ashkan years ago, and I've been float-centered and up and down the path of trying to open a center for a while. And yeah, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much, Ryan. And just to remind everybody, we are streaming live on the Float Collective, and kind of cool to be able to see that. So it looks like volume is bad, guys and gals. So I want to make sure that they can hear us too, but that's okay. We'll keep moving on and I'll fix that on my end. Jocelyn.
Hey there, I'm Jocelyn. I plan the Float Conference, and I'm just here to learn about you guys and see what you're working on.
Thank you so much, Jocelyn. And Greg, I guess needs no introduction, but you can introduce yourself anyway.
Hey, Greg Griffin here. I'm the I guess, lead of the consultant manufacturer supplier committee. And right now it's me, Peter Sharp, and then we also have Peter Marsh, who works for Superior Float Tanks with us. I don't think he's on the call today though, right? Nope, don't see him here. But so right now it's us three on this committee, and we are always looking for more people to join this committee with some ideas. So if you're interested at all, let us know or just reach out anytime. You could email info@floatation.org, or you can always message me on Facebook, ask in the collective, just reach out any way you can. I'm also the treasurer of the Flotation Tank Association. So welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Greg, for putting this together. Very excited to hear all of the different consultants. And I wanted to give a shout out to Kim. You're absolutely right. Kim Hannon actually mentioned she should be up next, but she said, if you're on the Facebook, join us on Zoom. You guys can totally just come into the Zoom. There's a link on that post. So just join us. We'd love to have you. So Kim.
Hey, everybody. Kim Hannon. I am a consultant as well for Mindful Solutions. We help with social media strategies, and I also help out with the Float conference, and happy to be an FTA consultant too.
Thank you so much, Kim. Gloria.
Hi, everyone. Gloria Morris with Float 60 here. I do not do any active consulting myself anymore, but my staff does, mostly with operational stuff. So yeah, I'm just excited to hear more about all the people that I have helped Float 60. Lots of them are on this call. Highly recommend 5 stars.
Thank you so much, Gloria. All right. So anybody else, if your camera's not on, I assume maybe you're just a participant listening. But if I did miss anyone, please jump in right now. All right. I think we'll get started. I am going to say that maybe we should start with Mr. Jeremy Harder. James Harder. Sorry.
I just want to thank Dylan Com first off for this lovely nickname I've come into. It is James Harder. Yeah, so New England Float Partners is a company that has really grown organically over the last 5.5 years. Shortly after starting our float center here in Portland, Maine, we started having people from all over New England reach out with float tank issues. And we were able to help them solve a lot of those problems. And shortly after that, we had a professional sports team here in the Northeast. They win a lot. Maybe you've heard of them, the New England Patriots. They reached out and they were looking for someone to help maintain their tanks more regularly. Before that, they had some of their athletic trainers taking care of them, and they had no idea what they were doing. It was very clear that their filtration systems had turned on multiple times while they had their filter housing open, and just made a horrible mess of everything. And just everything that could go wrong with their float tanks definitely had at one point or another. So we were able to go in there and help get those back to good. And since then, we've been working with them usually every week in the regular season and every other week in the off season, because they still have a lot of people around using the equipment. Since then, we've done consulting for people starting float centers all over the country. We've done some staff training for some other float businesses here in New England, where we've gone and shared what we've learned of giving float orientation thousands of times to people here in the greater Portland area. Yeah, we've also installed probably close to 3 dozen float tanks all over the place now, which has been a lot of fun. As many of you know, it's great when you show up to a place and people think they've made some catastrophic error and you're able to help them bring it back together. That's the majority of what we do. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Regular maintenance, installation, consulting, and just answering questions. We have a lot of people who call us on a regular basis to just answer questions that they're having. And then annual services is something that we do a lot. I know it's a debatable issue in the industry whether you should drain your tanks and refill them every year or not. We personally do that at Float Harder, and a lot of other people here in the Northeast also do that. So when that time comes, a lot of times it's not the most able-bodied people that open float centers. So we show up and do all the heavy lifting and lugging around thousands of pounds of Epsom salt, so they don't have to. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, if you're in this part of the country and looking for some help, definitely get in touch with us. Our email is team@nefloatpartners.com. And we just recently got our website up and running. It still needs a lot of work, so try not to judge us too hard on that. But it's team@nefloatpartners.com. So thanks.
That's so exciting. So do you personally know Tom Brady? Or should I not say that? You signed an NDA maybe?
I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing, James. I also just wanted to put a quick shout out there to David Ruby. He is a consultant, but he is having some technical issues, so we wanted to make sure that he's also fairly represented here too. And he's also one of the FTA partners that helps with consulting. So, all right, let's start. If anyone would like to jump in, they're welcome to. Otherwise, I'll give you about 3 seconds, and I'll just randomly call upon somebody. Andy.
Sure, happy to jump in and get started. So, hey everybody, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Andy Scher. I'm the agency director and founder of Rising Tide Advertising. We're a small-scale advertising agency that obviously specializes in working with float centers to run social media ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, stuff like that. We've been working in the industry for the past 3 or 4 years, got our start managing the marketing for Float Seattle up here in the Pacific Northwest where I'm from. Once we'd kind of figured out the inner workings of digital marketing strategies that seem to be generating strong results, we started opening those services up to the rest of the industry. For the last year or so, we've been working on a really, really fun and exciting project in collaboration with both Dr. Flux and Dr. Justin Feinstein, drawing from the amazing clinical research that's been done on floating the past 20 years, and turning that into easily digestible, ad-compliant educational videos that center owners like you can run as social media ads, install onto your website, run on platforms like YouTube, just to push the absolute latest and greatest, best, most accurate science that the industry has to offer to all of the tens of thousands or millions of people around your center who either haven't heard of floating yet or maybe haven't realized the specific way that floating can help them most, be it through chronic pain relief, anxiety and depression relief, improved meditation, expanded creativity and focus. We've got content either currently out or in development for all of those subjects, all backed by peer-reviewed and published clinical case studies that have been done by industry researchers for the past few decades. So love being a part of this industry, love working with all of these other amazing people on this panel today. In the past few years, we've had the privilege of working with a lot of centers around the country. We've got over 100 centers in total around the world that have used content that we've developed. We've had the opportunity to host workshops at the Float Conference, and just absolutely love being a part of this industry. So if you'd like to check out any of the educational material that we have available, you can visit risingtideadvertising.com to check out our full library. We have some very affordable licensing options that can get you started with our program and get access to our content for a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of what it would cost to develop this sort of material yourself. So love for you to check it out and love to know your thoughts if you have a chance to do so.
Thank you so much, Andy. And there's no denying it. I recognize that smooth voice of yours. All right. Kelly.
Had to get myself unmuted there. Okay. I have owned and operated Drift Float and Spa in Greenville, South Carolina for the last almost 5 years. We're getting close to that. And we are on the precipice of expanding, but with my consulting, I've taken on a position doing distribution for Float Spa out of Hungary. which is the float tanks that we have worked with over the years. So, as with anything, you have issues come up. So, I've dealt with almost everything that can come up. So, for float spot owners, I'd love to be a great resource to you. I will also be carrying a lot of stock for filters, UV lights, everything that you would need for replacement parts, and that can overlap with other systems as well. Um, on the consulting side, I also do help with systems consulting. So anything that you need to operate and run your float center efficiently and effectively, and so that your stress doesn't require you to get into the float tank. Um, I have prided myself on over the years kind of working myself out of my float center. So if you'd like to get down to one shift a week, or you're looking to just lighten your load a bit, I would love to help with that. And then I've also helped people over the years with branding. So if you're starting from scratch and you want to create something really conceptual, and really stunning to people, I'd like to think that I can help you there. So I love floating, and I would love to also connect people uh, to all you other wonderful consultants that have better expertise in areas that I don't. So thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Kelly. And I think you're right. Everybody has a strength, and we can really utilize one another to direct folks in a direction that is beneficial for everybody. So, okay, I think we will move on to Dylan. Let's do Dylan.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dylan, and a little bit more background besides my earlier intro. We opened the float shop in Portland, Oregon about 10 years ago, a little over 10 years ago. I started blogging about running a float center and started eventually doing a podcast with Amy Grimes and Lance, who's no longer directly affiliated with the industry, though he's still a passionate floater. Lance Foss, I should say. And now the co-hosts have changed. Several of them are here. Gloria and Kim. Drew is also on the show weekly. So we do a pretty much weekly podcast, where I try to get the guests' names correctly. And we get to interview really, really cool people that are doing float research or just innovating in some way, or just some kind of an expert in a field or related field in the industry. Or we just do group chats about whatever holidays coming up, crazy cool ideas that Kim has that she's doing to make her members feel special, and talk about Gloria's mad crazy hustle. It's pretty awesome, and we're all in different kind of stages of our businesses, so it's pretty fun. Don't want to ramble about that for too long. We started a Patreon where you can select a different tier for float media content, specifically float imagery, float images, float video, athletic imagery, and now scientific blog posts as well, about 300 to 500 word blog posts that are just cite one or two different research articles from all the float research we generally find on clinicalfloatation.com, which is a great resource for finding float research. And it's helped that my wife Sandra, has access to be able to read most of those as well. Some of them you do have to have a login, so these blogs can be a little bit of a little gateway access to that information, which is pretty cool. Beyond that, we did also start, we just launched a store as well, which has been really exciting and fun. You can now purchase previous video clips that are out there. We also, for the first time, launched 2 videos that are testimonial videos that are kind of like a rough draft of what we want to do, but they're still really nice, and I'm really pleased that people are purchasing and sharing those videos. We can also put your company logo on the video as well, free of charge. So just email us when you purchase that, and we'll do that for you and send you another copy of it. Beyond that, we do consulting as well. And I think my specific strength is in soundproofing. And I've just done a lot of research in soundproofing. It's a bit of a passion of mine. I definitely love looking at somebody's blueprints and finding not only where the weak points can be in soundproofing and how to better soundproof them, or like through redesign or through products, but also saving money. I think it's very easy to come up with the perfect float center, but it's really, really difficult to afford the perfect float center. But you can still get 99% there or somewhere thereabouts, and without cutting too many corners and just knowing where to save your money, or just put in a little bit more elbow grease and not purchase the super expensive stuff. So I think I covered most of my stuff there. Oh, and I will say, we will pull Kim, and Gloria says she's retired, but if you want to work with Gloria, we will pull her in for consulting as well. It's not just me over here.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I have to say, it's like me being a kid and opening up a pack of Pokemon cards every time there's a content drop from the Art of Float. I got to collect them all, you know? I'm serious.
Nice. Cool.
That's how it
That's
feels.
really cool.
So great
Thanks.
stuff. All right. Well, I know Jocelyn, you're here. Do you like to mention some things, or no, not you're okay. Not a
What?
not a
I'm not a
consultant. Or are
consultant.
you
Tell us about the float conference, Jocelyn.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'll wait till all the consultants are done to tell you about the float conference.
That's why I got a little confused. No worries. Well, let's go to Graham.
Cool. Hey, everybody. Graham here. One small part of Float Tank Solutions. I'll keep mine pretty short because I am really interested actually to hear from a lot of the consultants who I think the industry knows a little less well here. But yeah, opened up our own float center. We have a 6-tank center over in Portland back in 2010. We've been consulting for about the last 9 years or so. I think we've helped maybe a couple hundred float centers open around the world. We've had about 1,000 people plus come through our various trainings that we've done, in addition to a bunch of free resources. You know, we have over, I think, 370 podcast episodes, a bunch of the state of the industry reports you can download for free, tons of great blogs and stuff. So go check it out if you haven't been to Float Tank Solutions already. And yeah, with that, I'll kind of turn it over to the rest of the consultants. Thanks so much for having me here too. I love the roundtables you guys have been doing.
Thank you so much, Graham. We really put our heart and soul into these things, so we're happy to help the industry.
That's why I wore my fancy robe for you too. This is my official float conference robe.
I love
it.
it.
Yeah, I don't just wear this every day. It's usually just float conference and special occasions. But you got
I am
it
kind of disappointed that you didn't put the rainbow or the reindeer ears on though. Reindeer antlers.
I'll put it on for my future lurking here in the background. I'll find a good time to sneak.
Okay. All right, Bryce, tell us what you got.
Hi, so yeah, I'm Bryce Evans. I run More Floats, which, like I said, is a agency specifically working with float centers. It basically evolved from marketing consulting that I did. First floated just over 10 years ago. Like, immediately loved it. My first float was very powerful, and yeah, just like personally became very passionate about it. Started working with more centers, and so I've been working with centers now for the last 8 years, different capacities, but that's now evolved into More Floats. And the idea behind it is basically gaining a marketing partner, so someone who's like quite integrated with the business, someone who you can go to and talk with about everything that's going on, and then we basically handle all of your marketing. So social media, we can do branding, website. The main focus is obviously Facebook ads. That's where we can drive kind of the biggest impact. But like I said, we cover everything else in different ways with our plan. So again, it can be like blog posts. We set up a lot of systems for our partners as well. And yeah, the other sort of idea behind it is, in the work that I did previously, like as sort of a freelancer, I just noticed that, obviously consistency is huge for marketing. That's kind of one of the most important pieces. So, having this partner who's doing this work on a consistent basis, has a much bigger impact than just doing kind of little projects here and there, or like things that are more sporadic with the marketing. And I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, we work with existing centers. We've also helped launch quite a few float centers, and we've kind of developed this unique strategy where basically we're trying to get you a whole bunch of members before you open your doors, and we have 100% success rate with that so far, with getting 100 members before you open up. So anyone who's looking to launch a float center, it's usually about 3 or 4 months out. Reach out and we'd be happy to help you with that as well.
Awesome. And do you have I don't know if I heard you say, do you have a contact website?
Just More Floats. You can find us anywhere, morefloats.com.
Gotcha. Cool. Thank you so much, Bryce.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Kim.
Hello, hello. I'm going to do a little screen share because I'm a little bit of a visual person, a whole lot of a visual person. So boom, there we go. And all right, so I own Mindful Solutions, and we offer several different ways to help float centers. I also own my own float center with my husband. We opened about 3.5 years ago, and I launched Mindful Solutions just before that, about 4 years ago. And the idea was to take everything that I learned in the corporate world and bring it to small businesses, specifically float centers. So we help with organic social media. I leave the paid ads to the other guys on the call. They do an awesome job with that. And so I'm not passionate about that part, but I am passionate about the organic side of things. We also create animated videos, and that can be most often the most popular thing that we create is orientation videos that are designed for helping someone get ready for their first float. Everything from, how the controls work to when to arrive, tips about not touching your eyes, and all of those sorts of things. And we make it feel really immersive, even though it's animated. So we use photos from your center and truly customize exactly what that looks like. And I also help with print marketing, everything from, brochures, business cards, banners, all sorts of promotional materials and things like that as well. But the bulk of what we do is with Mindfully Social, and I'll give you just a really quick kind of glance. We've created a pretty large library of content that we not only create and customize for you if you want that option, but we also schedule it. So I'm going to show you my dear friend Gloria really quickly, just to give you a very brief overview. We host all of her different platforms here, and you can see content is loaded in a month at a time. Everything from little animated video snippets. We do value add posts, things like wellness, but we also educate on all of the services that are offered. So right now we provide content for about 24 different services. So it's not just for floating. If you also have infrared sauna or cryotherapy or massage therapy, things like that, we can also help with that. And what's really awesome about this is it's a full scheduling platform that also has a built-in editing tool. So a lot of places use Canva. This is a replacement for Canva, a replacement for things like Hootsuite and all of that. So you can easily hop in here and click around to edit text. You can swap out photos. We also provide tons of templates for post ideas. You can see they're constantly changing over here on the side, that you can also add your own content on top of what we provide. And we have packages that allow you to take the content that we provide and customize it yourself, or let us do all of that sort of heavy lifting. We really get to know your company. We get to know everything about your brand, your policies, details about how you run your center, exactly what float tanks and cabins and such that you offer, and use that to really write in your voice and to edit all of the captions and things for you. It has built-in analytics. We have your inbox. So, if you have a whole bunch of different platforms, you've got messages and comments and things coming from a whole bunch of different directions. Here you get a consolidated inbox where you can actually respond to all of the comments, all of the messages, and absolutely everything that's out there. So it's pretty fun. We absolutely love getting to do this, and we provide all kinds of content. So just to give you kind of a quick glimpse of what that looks like, these are just float posts. You'll recognize some of these beautiful imagery from what Dylan was talking about with Art of the Float. We use a lot of his photos and video snippets, and that's included in this package. And then some are going to be really short, some are going to be a little bit longer, some are inspirational, some are educational, all sorts of types of content addressing FAQs, the basics of floating. But we also really try to help create that connection between you and your followers. So it's not just about the education, it's an opportunity to really connect with them and get to know them too. And you can go to mindful with 2 L's.solutions to find out information, or email me at kim@mindful.solutions.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Sure.
Wow, that's amazing. I've never seen your platform. It's so cool that you built that.
It's
actually a built platform for scheduling. That's great. Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that.
Can I give a little testimonial? Is that allowed?
Yeah, of course.
No, I want to give a testimonial.
No, I will give the testimonial, damn it. No, I have to say, as somebody who manages multiple centers.
I think we might have lost.
Looks like Dylan does give the testimonial.
Yeah, you give the testimonial, Dylan.
I honestly feel a little bad, not for Gloria, but just because Kim knows people in here who can give testimonials, and it is amazing, and I can talk it up, but I feel a little bit bad for other people who don't have like firsthand. Oh, that's a bad echo. Did everybody else hear that?
Someone else could give the testimonial.
They are not a reflection on my work. I love you guys. Thank you for trying.
Are you trying to talk, Jonathan? You're muted. You're muted if you're trying to talk.
You're right.
Boy, that really fell apart. I'm happy to provide consulting on that mute thing too, by the way, no problem.
Man, that was the biggest the error prone thing I've seen in a long time. Wow.
That was not my fault, by the way. I'm blaming it all on Dylan.
Oh, geez. All right. Well, thank you again, Kim. Let's talk to you, Matt. Tell us what's up.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name's Matt Phillips, and I'm the owner of Visibloom Marketing. Some of you may know me as It's a No Thing. That's kind of how I brand what I do for the float industry. But anyways, I've been in the float industry roughly for about 7 years. And I started off working for a float tank manufacturer doing kind of marketing and sales. And I spent about 3 years there and kind of noticed in that process a lot of the struggle that was happening, with a lot of the, people that I were talking to that own float centers, and kind of realized, at that time, when it came to marketing, everybody was kind of trying to push out a general message about floating. And it was really about, 4 years ago when I decided to kind of, jump into the marketing realm. And what I started doing is kind of developing cinematic videos to kind of segment people based on what they were typing in on Google and YouTube, and really kind of started doing YouTube ads for float center owners, and I had wild success with like a Joe Rogan video for people typing in Joe Rogan on YouTube, and a pain video for people typing in fibromyalgia, arthritis, and things like that. And fast forward basically 4 years later now, expanded to Facebook, obviously, which does really well. Obviously, still have YouTube and Google, and really what I try and do is provide really just a low cost formula for float centers that really just works, that really tries to segment people based on how they need to be talked to. For instance, the 65-year-old grandmother, that's struggling with pain doesn't want to hear about the meditation benefits. Typically, there might be some that aren't like that, but so try and really segment the message about floating. And then also to try and really kind of retarget as well with your website visitors. I like to do a lot of like YouTube retargeting with testimonial videos and things like that, and also support you during all the major holidays like Black Friday, Christmas, Mother's Day, Father's Day, and Valentine's Day. And yeah, it's pretty much it. Yeah, I've had the privilege of working with about 75 float centers over the last 4 years. And you can feel free to take a look at www.floatcentermarketing.com for more information. I think that's it.
Thank you, Matt. And I gotta say, and this is just weird things that I do, but I'll switch on like my my Surfshark proxy, and if I'm exploring certain regions, I'll intentionally try to get caught in the funnels. And when your videos show up, it's it's so amazing. It's like, wow.
I see yours all the time too, man. I see your flow light ones all the time, quite often too. I saw a lot.
I don't know how they. Okay, well now I'm getting nervous. I'm not spreading my my marketing budget out that far unless you're intentionally coming into my market.
Yeah. I don't want to go too deep into the retargeting.
No, I'm just targeting you, Matt. You're caught in my funnel, so maybe that's the reason. You're exploring my page too much. All right. Let's move on to Ryan.
Hey, what's going on? I'm not a consultant. I've been around the float game for, I don't know, like 6 years now. I'm just every day more and more excited to be around it constantly. I have a career in other stuff, and I've attempted to manifest the float center and had a hilarious roller coaster experience with 3 almost hits. But every time I go to back, and I keep a 1-day Saturday morning shift at Rise Above in New York, in Mount Kisco. And every time I go back and do that shift and interact with customers and interact with people, I just am in love with the whole thing all over again and know that someday this is going to work. So that's me.
Oh, okay. Well, nice to meet you.
A little out of place, but yeah.
You're not a consultant. I apologize.
It's good to see you again, though, Ryan. Yeah.
Very open to it.
You snuck in there. You snuck into both the intro and you got to tell us about yourself. So it was a pleasure to see you. And Peter, again, I don't know if you're officially a consultant of the FTA or if you're just part of that committee.
No, I'm just part of the committee. We have a float center here in Hong Kong, and we have aspirations of doing something like Graham's done in the past. And Graham, I'm a student of Graham's team, so yeah, thanks, Graham. But no, float centers.
Cool. I also just want to make sure that we didn't miss anybody. I promise you I have a master list of consultants, but again, I want to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to speak. I guess this leaves us with the opportunity for questions and maybe discussion. If anybody, including panelists, have questions for other panelists, or if viewers or participants have questions, feel free to shout them out. Dylan, it looks like you have a question.
There was a comment in the Flow Collective that I saw shortly before this. Oh, can you hear me? I gave a look.
You're good.
Okay, great. Asking some really basic to really advanced questions about starting a float center. Didn't seem like this person has worked with a consultant, and I just wanted to, if that person is watching, or if anybody who is starting a float center is watching, that's what this one is about, is they mentioned it might be too expensive to take a class with Float Tank Solutions. In my opinion, these things are the foundation. Like for your house, this is a foundation you need to invest in to have a proper business that's going to last as many years as you want. And I would just implore anybody who's going to start the center to reach out to these people, figure out who's the right fit for you, take the class, have that in your back pocket as again, the foundation, is the perfect analogy for it. I'll just leave it at that, but please put the energy in, even if it's financial energy, to bring it back into your business.
Dylan, I would add to that, also attend the Float conference. It was fantastic for me. I attended the Float conference twice, before I invested in an existing float center, and it helped me enormously.
Totally second that.
Yeah, additionally, if regardless of who you're working with, definitely vet them out, and then do some consulting with someone. There's so many mistakes that so many of us have made along the way, and just one or two of those, if we can help you avoid them, is going to save you way more than you're going to spend on the consulting to begin with. I wish I would have done more of it, and I'm sure a lot of you who've been in the game longer than I have didn't have anyone to show you, but I'm sure you wish you would have. So definitely reach out to someone.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that one really quick. I mean, that's like, we did everything wrong. Like, out of our initial construction for Float On, there's literally a length of wall about this big that we didn't demo. We went through 4 sets of floors minimum per room. Like, it's so easy, even when you have contractors and people who you think, and this is like, of course, we're like almost doing a consultant sales call right now, but it seriously doesn't matter who you go with. Like, even someone who's not on this call, just like, get advice from someone who's had a float center open for, I don't know, probably at least like 3 years for the construction, so they can see a lot of the stuff that gets destroyed. But man, it's like the list of things that get destroyed, from your walls to your floor to your sanity to your relationships to your favorite pair of shoes. Like, assault will destroy everything, literally. So like, get help from someone out there. Don't be like us. Don't be the idiots who thought that you could just slap some float tanks in a room, call it a business, and you'd be done. That was a terrible, terrible idea that cost us in the end like hundreds of thousands of dollars of tear out and replacing things. It's crazy how fast that can add up. So yeah, just they're spot on. Do it.
I have to piggyback on all of that because I listened to every single episode of The Art of the Float before we had even started into it. Joined the Float Collective, attended a couple of float conferences, read every blog post from the FTS. My husband attended the Startup Center workshop, and I cannot fathom getting into this business without learning from everyone who is offering things. Some are available for free. Some are well worth any kind of investment they're asking you to make. It takes a lot of time and effort to put together those resources, and it is definitely worth your time. And as Dylan was saying, your financial energy as well, to support those resources. They will come back to you tenfold. And if you don't do them, you will learn the hard way, and your business can suffer from that. So I am so grateful to everybody who has contributed content out there to the world of floating, because that has helped me to be successful in my center, and also to be able to learn, what to do and how to market floating. So
I just want to chime in here before, thank you, Kim, by the way, and everyone else. I've got about 10 minutes here before I have to get off, so I'd love to later on catch up and listen to the rest of the discussion. But I really quickly wanted to mention that you can, if you aren't already aware, you can find the consulting page on the FTA website. It's floatation.org. If you go over to, you know what, I'll screen share it quick here just to make it a little bit easier. Just bear with me a moment. I have my Zoom on my browser, so hopefully it's going to look weird for half a second. Can you all see the website now? Can someone say yes or no?
Yes.
good.
Thank you. So if you just go to floatation.org, go over to the resources area here and click on consultants. And here's a list and bios of all of our currently active consultants, except for the few that haven't sent us a bio yet. So there's about a dozen, and we still have 3 more that just have to send a bio to us. So if you're listening and you are one of those few people, definitely reach out to info@floatation.org or find the contact info on the FTA's website. Just reach out and we'll let you know how to send that bio over so we can get it up here on the website. And also, if you are looking to, if you offer consulting yourself and want to join the FTA as a member consultant, floatation.org, scroll down to the bottom of every page. It's the same area where you could join as a member of the FTA, as a float center owner, or an individual. Consultant area is right here. So you can join that way, and then we'll ask for a bio, get that up on the website very quickly for you, and answer any questions you have. I'll stop my screen share here quick. Okay, cool. So beyond that, I also want to mention that
You're still
there we
sharing
go.
your. Oh, there you go.
Yep, just figured that out. So I'm not used to using a browser Zoom. For some reason, I'm having issues with the regular one. I also want to mention too, like there's times where people think that I run my float center by myself, and yeah, I don't have physical staff here, but I mean, since 2 years before opening, I've actually used. It's kind of weird. I've probably used almost maybe 75% of the current FTA consultants in different capacities. I won't name who, but a lot of you are here on this call right now. And I mean, I hired out my marketing years ago, hired out most of my social media posting years ago, help with YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, and it's made a huge difference. So, just because I and some other people run our float centers by ourselves, having a team of some of these consultants behind us has been a huge help in making it way less stressful without physical staff here. So, just something to keep in mind.
Thank you so much, Greg.
I'll give it back to you, John, and keep it up. I'm going to have to pop off here in a few minutes.
That's
so
okay.
If there's any other questions, go for it.
No, very important. Floatation.org/consultants if you want to learn about anybody that you've heard from on this panel today. And a few that aren't yet on there, but definitely reach out to them. And we're going to make sure that that in the post on the collective, but also in the following upcoming FTA emails and content, we'll make sure that you're able to get that information. But if you do have any questions about any of the consultants here, and you weren't able to catch any of their contact information, feel free to email info@floatation.org, and we'll get you in contact with them directly. So we'd love to be able to get you hooked up with somebody, because I know that after listening to everybody, but also just knowing all of these folks, that there are resources out there that will be game changers for your business. And I'm going to say this too, just to piggybacking on everyone who's piggybacked, is that you don't have to go with just, think of it like this. Remember when I said I collect all the different packs of the art of float, and Andy's content, it's like, that's the same thing. Like, you collect this digital content, and then you have these different consultants that you can bounce ideas off of. Like, I just contacted James the other day about the consulting gig, and I just contacted Graham the other day. So utilizing these people in different areas and taking advantage of what they have to offer is going to help you build a better, more dynamic, more well thought out business, because you're standing on the shoulders of giants, and it's important that we utilize those resources. So I also wanted to say, ha 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 ha, Graham, I love the red nose, man. Jeez,
this is serious stuff. I had to get into my business attire.
I could see that. Well, thank you guys. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for all who joined us today. If anyone else has anything else they'd like to mention.
I wonder if Jocelyn could tell us a little something about the Float Conference this year.
Why are you so intent on calling me out, James?
I know how much you love the spotlight, Jocelyn.
Sure. Yeah, we're planning the Float Conference again this year. I'm certain that you are all aware that it's going to be in Portland, Maine this year. The original Portland, I've been told. Please don't come to Portland, Oregon, because we will not be here. It's going to be August 26th to 28th, and we are actively accepting speaker applications. So if you're interested in presenting some of this wealth of knowledge that each of you carry in your brains, please reach out to us, or actually just go to floatconference.com/speakers to apply for that. We're also looking for sponsors. You're welcome to join a committee if you want to get involved and help planning. We're going to have talks ranging from research to small business logistics to marketing and regulations and sanitation and disinfection and pretty much anything that you need to know to run your float center. We're also going to have some wellness activities. We're going to rip it up, as James says, in Portland. there will be plenty of time to party and hang out. And yeah, tickets are live. If you're considering and you're still on the fence, I would encourage you to go book your hotel room early because those are going to sell out. And I can only hold so many hotel rooms under my name until you forget and remember that you forgot and ask for me to transfer that into your room, into your name. So did I miss anything? James, Kim?
It's going to be awesome. Portland, Maine is beautiful that time of year. It's a really great city. Can't wait to share with all you guys. So yeah, please come along and like Jocelyn said, definitely don't delay because accommodations will book up quickly. It's it's prime time to be here in Portland, and our backyard is only so big, so we can only put up a few tents. So yeah, but come check it out. It's gonna be a blast. Let's rip it up.
Jocelyn, I also wanted to mention, I don't know, maybe you did mention it and I was just blanking over it, but you guys do have a webinar coming up too.
We do. We have a webinar scheduled for this Thursday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be learning about having retail in your wellness center or float center. Patty Biro, I believe is how you pronounce it, is going to be our presenter for that. She is an expert in retail at wellness spas.
Excellent. And I think there was a Float Collective post on that, but I'll be sure to link that too in this post on the live stream. And,
so many opportunities for learning these days. This is great between the FTA and the Float Conference. Let's keep it
beautiful.
up.
It really is beautiful.
And that's really the great power of all of this is getting into the network. Even if you aren't able to utilize consultants, having a network of people who can support you and who know the struggles every single day, that alone is so valuable. Volunteering your time if you have that, but coming to events, these free webinars, or coming to the Float Conference and getting to know some other folks who are doing what you do, it truly changed my life in such a big way that now like my whole life is centered around this industry and all of you. And my business is, and absolutely everything I do is float centric. So that's a pretty amazing thing. And had I not started attending to float conferences and listening to a podcast and all of that sort of stuff, then I don't know where I would be, but I'm pretty damn happy that I'm here right now. So
we're happy you're here too, Kim. On that note, put on my other hat as a board member for the FTA and just say that for any of you out there who do have some time to get involved, we're going to be taking applications for the next board election, which will be happening leading up to the Float Conference. So if you're interested in becoming a leader in the industry, definitely get involved there. If being on the board sounds a little too daunting for you, getting involved with one of the many committees. So check out that page on the website as well and see if there's something that really calls to you to get involved with, because we'd love to have some more assistance with it and keep making awesome things happen. Also this year at the Float Conference, we will have a more in-depth member meeting. So we'd love to see everybody there. It's going to be FTA members only get together at some point. More details on that to come, but it's going to be awesome. So
VIP party.
If you're not already a member, become a member. If you're not already involved in a committee, please consider doing that as well. We'd love to have you.
And you can see that at floatation.org. You can join the FTA. And I also just wanted to put a quick announcement out there. Our next upcoming roundtable will be actually the customer service roundtable on April 7th. This is a member-only roundtable, and it's actually hosted by Drew himself, Drew Kane. And that one's going to be great. Drew also has a fancy, super fancy PDF that he put together. It's going to be epic. So you don't want to miss that. If you're an FTA member, you can see that content. If you're not, go to floatation.org and you can join. It's actually so much value. You're going to get all the back catalog of all of these roundtables and so much more. And then the next roundtable after that is Microbiology Roundtable with Dr. Roy Vore. And that's a super important project. So if you guys, anybody out there that has the time to join that, we really, really like your help, because all we're really looking for is some lab samples, and it could really change the entire industry if Dr. Vore can if you can submit some of those. Other than that, we look forward to seeing everybody in the future. Thank you, Andy, Peter, Graham, Matt, Bryce, James, Ryan, Jocelyn for sharing about Float Conference, Kim and Greg for helping organize this, Dylan, Kelly, and David, who wasn't able to unfortunately be vocal with us, but he's also a consultant, and also Gloria, who is like Echo Box, so she can't come on either. But yeah, this has been a Consultants Roundtable on March 8th, 2022. And thank you, everybody, for joining, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, everyone.